Hi, and welcome to Room by Room. I'm Sherry Hiller.
And I'm Matt Fox, and today we're decorating a man's bathroom.
But we're keeping the decorating in line with the time period and style of the house.
It requires some great rags to riches projects and even a few toolbox ideas.
And I'll add the fabrics and accessories that even a man's bathroom needs. Stick around. We'll have some fun on today's Room by Room. Well, hi, and welcome to today's decorating project, a man's bathroom. In fact, the background of this story is that this old Victorian home was purchased by a young man in his 20s, and he's fixing things up as he has the resources to do so. Well, as you can imagine, the main upstairs bathroom was a priority, and he did it in grand style. In other words, he is taking into consideration the history and elegance of the home. Now, when we arrived, the cabinetry, flooring, and new windows were already in. Well, I guess it had been quite a project, and some of the finishing details were left to us. Of course, that means that Matt was in heaven with this project, because there were things all around the room that needed improvement, even though everything in the bathroom was brand new. As we go through the show today, we'll teach you all sorts of ways to give your rooms those same finishing details. Well, my responsibility in all of this is to make the room look attractive. I did select a wall covering that had just the right colors to blend with the cabinetry and just enough masculine coloration to make our homeowner feel comfortable. And as I would with any bathroom that's full of hard surfaces, I'm going to want to add things like area rugs, thick towels, and maybe even fabric for some additional softness. I'd probably use fabric on the window above the shower and maybe on the shower stall itself. Because having a glass door shower enclosure is nice for more light while showering and for creating a more spacious feel in the room, but it does allow everything in the shower to be seen. So although it may not seem like a guy thing, I'd really like to add some sort of shower curtain to cover the glass doors when the shower isn't being used, thereby covering up the bottles and tubes and washcloths and soaps. Well, we'll see if that passes inspection later. I guess that's about it, except for safety. And as we all know, a bathroom is an accident waiting to happen. But if you look around the room and correct any problems before they occur, you're that much closer to a safe environment for you and your family. In fact, there are some things you might not have thought of, but Matt did. And here he is with some great ideas for bathroom safety.
When you're talking about safety in a bathroom, there are 3 areas you need to concern yourself with. The first is to prevent falls. The second is to prevent poisoning. And the third is to prevent shocks or even electrocutions. Let's investigate this bathroom with those concerns in mind. Well, first of all, this glossy finished flooring can be very slippery to step onto after a shower. It's a gorgeous choice visually, but probably not the safest surface to select. However, a good bath mat with a rubber gripping backing on it can solve that problem. And I would suggest that the floor area in front of the other sink be covered with a non-skid rug as well, because water plays a big part in that area too. We may even want to suggest a non-skid mat inside the shower area. And I see this shower has a grab bar already installed, but you can add them to your shower fairly easily using an appropriate mounting system, depending on the surface you have inside your shower. Now, this particular home doesn't have any children or pets living in it currently, so the poisoning problem isn't a big issue. But if you do have children or pets, remember to keep all cleaning chemicals and medicines on an upper shelf in a cabinet with child-proof locks. Then, electricity can be a real hazard in any bathroom for anyone, especially when it's combined with water in a confined space. Well, like this one. Here are some things I'm sure you've already heard, but take them to heart and get your kids to listen to them too. Most importantly, never touch an electrical appliance that is plugged in if your body or hands are wet. Avoid using hair dryers or radios near water. Unless, of course, you have one of those cool new shower radios. They're watertight and run on batteries. And since this is a bachelor pad, I have to show you the music system in this room. Here behind the closet doors is a full stereo pumped right into the speakers in the ceiling. But you should never touch this if you're wet. Now, just one more word about electrical outlets. All your bathroom outlets should be equipped with ground fault circuit interrupters to prevent the possibility of a fatal shock. If you don't have a GFCI outlet, you can buy one and install it easily by following the instructions inside the packaging. Just remember to turn the power off before installing that new outlet. And then finally, a couple more things to consider if you have children. Make sure to install an outside lock release on your door to prevent the kids from accidentally getting locked inside. Also, cleaning your bathroom weekly minimizes germs and bacteria, making it better for everyone's health. Well, I guess that does it for now. It took a little time to ensure that this room is safe, and making the changes didn't cost an arm and a leg. Just thought you'd want to know. When we come back, Sherry gives you the whys about the wall covering, and I'll turn rags into riches.
Well, hi, and welcome back to our bathroom project today, which is a man's Victorian style bath. Now, the wallpaper I selected is an arts and crafts style wallpaper, which would seem to be at the other end of the spectrum to the Victorian style, so I wanted to comment on that. First of all, the Victorian style is known for being very ornate, with a combination of styles being used together, creating a sort of busy look to the design. Now, the arts and crafts style, on the other hand, was actually a response against the over-manufactured style of furnishings the Victorians were using, and more of a return to handcrafted items. Well, even though this paper was in an arts and crafts wallpaper book, I thought it looked detailed enough in its design to justify using it in this Victorian home. Plus, the rosebuds and tiny flower motifs are quite fitting for a Victorian look. Now, aside from the history aspect of the selection, there are design reasons too. For instance, I thought that the deep reds in the pattern would pick up nicely on the deep cherry cabinetry, and that the green and beige were masculine shades that would look great in towels and other accessories. And as far as placement goes, I put the stripe at the top in a smaller portion because the room is tall enough already and the stripe would accentuate that height. Then putting the border about 3/4 of the way up allows it to cut across the wall, helping to bring the height of the ceiling down as well. Then the overall beige tone pattern below is interesting, but not so busy as to over-decorate the room. So there you have the intense thinking that goes on behind the selection of a simple wall covering. But don't let that intimidate you, because part of me just liked the way it looked.
Well, I have my tool bucket in hand, ready to do a little rags to riches. Huh? Oh, I know what you're thinking. Matt, the bathroom is brand new. What could you possibly do that would turn it from rags to riches? Well, let's start with the cabinets. Well, the homeowner purchased all the cabinets, and I must say he did a terrific job. I think this fluting detail does a great job of blending in with the rest of the woodwork in this older home. But here's another option. Look at these neat little rosettes. All you need to do is stain and polyurethane them to match the existing cabinets. Then just attach them using some carpenter's glue and a small finish nail. These cost about $5 a piece, and they would make a fantastic finishing touch. Hey, check this out. Instead of having a heat source be so obvious, in this case, a steam radiator, the carpenters hid it behind this cabinet. Now the facing isn't bad, but it doesn't allow any heat to flow through to this area. And I have a better idea. Replacing this facing with a brass screen. Now to do this, I measure the opening, cut the screen to size using a pair of tin snips, and attach it from the back using screws. Again, hardly any time spent, and a 1-foot by 1-foot piece of the screen costs about $10. Now by adding this brass screen on the back, I have added a little more interest in here and have allowed more warm air to filter to the sink area. A nice welcome on a chilly Ohio morning. Hey, look up there. Canister lighting is a great addition to any bathroom. Now to save a little time, we had the electrician install the canister ceiling fixtures, but the baffle and the trim weren't installed so that the ceiling could be painted. So all I had to do was insert the baffle in the trim unit, pushing it up into the fixture until it's seated properly. It's a piece of cake. Now I tried a couple of options. First is white canister, which wasn't bad, but didn't completely hide the inner workings of the fixture. So we opted for a smaller system with this black baffle. Now the insides are hidden, and the black actually works as a better light diffuser. Now for above the shower area, I installed a trim kit with a glass cover. This will prevent moisture and steam from getting into the fixture. There are a lot of different styles to choose from, The hard part is deciding which type you like best. Isn't decorating great? So many choices.
When it comes to metals these days, kind of like wood species, it's really okay to mix and match. However, I do think there's a line you can cross where it looks more like a mishmash than a well-planned out combination of metals or woods. Well, in this bathroom, the first metal selected was for the faucets, and a bright brass tone was the choice. Now, because this room is small and just about everything can be seen from one vantage point, I think it's a wise decision to stick with one metal. Now, our homeowner had wanted to find some ornate Victorian-style towel bars, but those seem to only be available in the antique brass finish, which looks out of place with the bright brass. So you might ask, how many brass options are there in one bathroom anyway? Well, take a look at this. The light fixtures are beautiful brass with pretty cut glass Victorian-style shades. Of course, we made sure the towel rings were in a polished brass, along with the outlet covers and switch plates. Even the cabinet hardware is in brass. There's also a brass trim around the shower doors. Of course, all of the fixtures inside the shower are in brass too, like the shower heads and control levers. Even the handle on the commode is in brass. There may even be more in the accessories we bring into the room. So my best suggestion, do not wear a magnetic suit into this bathroom. You'll never be able to leave. Coming up next, there's so much fabric and so many choices, but we'll make it so simple.
Hi, and welcome back to our bathroom project. It seems that every home Sherry and I go into, I usually end up in the bathroom. Well, to work. I'm always fixing someone's towel bars. They're usually falling off the wall because they haven't been installed properly. Well, let me walk you through the installation of a towel bar, and you should never have the problem with them falling off the wall again. First, with the bar completely assembled, find the location where you want to place it. Make sure that it's level by using a small torpedo level. Now draw a light pencil line around the decorative plate. Remove the mounting bracket from the plate by using the small Allen wrench that is usually supplied with the towel bar. Just back the small screw out and the bracket should remove easily. Place the mounting bracket within the pencil marks you made earlier. Using an awl, push through the mounting screw holes to make a small mark for location. Drill a pilot hole with a small drill bit. If you don't hit a stud, drive in a self-anchoring molly and then attach the bracket using a screw into the anchor you just installed. If you hit a stud, just screw the bracket directly into the wall. Reassemble the towel bar and you're in business with a bar that should never be yanked from the wall. Well, the next project for me was to install the cabinet knobs. You know, Sherry can spend hours selecting the right knob for a cabinet. Believe me, I've been there, but I always try to bring a book. But it can really make a big difference. Now for this bath, she selected these wonderful brass knobs. Very simple, but very elegant. Then once the selection is made, she usually hands me the bag of knobs and says,
"Your turn."
That's when I step into action. This is not a difficult task. It's just a little nerve-wracking trying to make sure that the knobs are centered in the right place. Now to help me find center the drawer, I place a straight edge from corner to corner, draw a light line at the approximate center, then do the same from the opposite corners. Where the two lines meet, you have center. Then drill a pilot hole with a drill bit the same size as a drawer pull screw. Slide the screw through and attach the knob. Now there are templates that'll make the job easier, but with custom cabinets like we have in this bath, the method that I used works great. So the next time you end up in the bathroom to work, maybe these simple little tips will make your job easier.
Well, today's So Simple was more a project of decisions than actual sewing. The one new window that was added in the shower area didn't have any cut glasswork like the other two smaller windows, and it seemed to me like it needed a little attention. So we added a simple gathered lace panel with tension rods. Now the toughest part of doing that was figuring out where the tension rods would fit. Well, my first choice would have been in the first outside indentation, but the mechanics of the window were very obviously in the way. So I just kept stepping back until I was clear of the crank, and that's where the curtain looked and worked best. Now, the biggest decision involved the shower curtain. And although this isn't a tricky color combination we're working with, there were so many possibilities as far as color, pattern, and texture that it made the decision more difficult. In the end, we chose this deep forest green striped curtain. However, let me show you how the decision process went. We did go to the store, armed with samples of the wall covering, so we were very prepared. And so many of them looked great with the colors we were working with that we bought several and felt it would be best to make the final decision right in the room. The first curtain was this off-white. I thought it might be nice since everything else in the room was quite dark, and the wall covering does have an off-white background. However, the texture of the fabric seemed a bit casual for the room, and when we hung it up, it became clear that there was just too much white in here. Next, we tried a beige on beige satiny finish curtain that was nice in color. The great pattern woven in just didn't seem right with our wall covering, but I did like the formality of the satiny effect. So I kept on searching and thought this light green curtain might be pretty. However, the geometric design wasn't working for me, and the color wasn't a perfect match to our green. Now this could work in some situations, but in this bathroom it seemed to come out of nowhere. We then gave a burgundy curtain a try. It was the perfect color for this Victorian home and looked great in the room. However, we felt it blended in too much with the wood cabinetry and we wanted to add a little punch. Then the last one we hung up was this forest green striped design. It was the perfect match to our wall covering. The satiny finish was formal enough for the room, and it gave us that punch of color we were looking for. Notice too the additional brass in the shower rod and rings. So remember, it's much better to give yourself a variety of choices, because when you do make a selection, you know you've made the right choice. One tip, save those receipts so your returns are so simple. Still ahead, we'll add a little stuff to spice up our Victorian bathroom. For questions or comments, please write to Room by Room, care of HGTV, Box 50970, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37950. Be sure to include the episode number and your daytime phone number.
Hi, and welcome back to our Victorian bathroom project. We decided to come back to the studio once we had all the accessories in the room, because when we were standing in there, we were hiding everything.
And we didn't want to do that because the room looked so pretty. In fact, my first impression when we stepped inside after we'd finished all of the accessorizing was that we were in a beautiful hotel restroom.
I love all the candles on the counter, and although we lit them for the show so you could see everything, please remember, never leave a burning candle unattended.
And the urn and matching vase, which holds the beautiful ferns and even a few peacock feathers, are the perfect addition to a Victorian bathroom. Although I especially like the small mahogany chest of drawers on the counter, which holds things like extra soaps, washcloths, hey, and even matches to light those candles.
We chose to use two different colors for the tiles in this bath. The deep forest green is a great accent pulled directly from the wall covering, and the beige is just a basic background color.
You know, we even placed the tiles in specific locations because of their color. For instance, I wanted more color on the wall where we placed the towel rings, so I have the green ones there. The towel bar behind the commode needed even more interest, so I blended the colors. Now the beige ones hang nicely on the towel bars attached to the shower doors, and they blend right in, bringing attention to decorative areas instead of functional ones.
Well, I guess some of the other finishing touches would be the floral pattern area rug, which brings in another pattern and adds a richness to the room, especially on the marble tile floor. Then we added one of the homeowner's pictures that added a personal touch to the room.
Well, the room looks fantastic, and it really went together in a snap once the wall covering was selected.
And all the toolbox and rags to riches projects were completed.
Wow, what a difference.
Oh, it is.
We'll take one more look around the room and we'll get out the scrapbook. What am I doing here?
Yeah, it's a bath for men. What's up with that?
Except when it comes time to need decorating.
Okay, you can
Where
stay.
are you?
You can stay, you can stay. We need you. In the know.
Bathroom safety.
Safety, very important. I think two of the main points that I really want to stress are keeping electrical appliances away from the water.
Sure, but you can't put a radio in.
Oh yeah, I like
Special
that
radio.
Yep. And also bath mats, especially on a tile floor for slip factors.
Yes,
so you
ours
don't
was
slip.
very slick.
Little things that are common sense, but we tend to just forget about them over time. So
Yeah.
just refresh your memory with safety.
Good idea. Background check, we talked about the wall covering being an arts and crafts
Beautiful.
style paper. But with all of the detail and design and everything, the flowers, it works out great in a Victorian bath. And in the end, my recommendation is just select something that you love, something you want to be surrounded by. And our homeowner really liked the paper.
He liked that a lot.
It fit with everything that was in the bathroom, looked great with the cabinets, so why not?
Really nice. Then the rags to riches. You know, the first thing I started out with is changing the light fixtures in the ceiling. We're trying to go with the right color, and did they hide the bulbs right enough? Buy one of each until you get the right one, because you can always, if you unpack it well, you can pack it up nicely and return it to the store to find the right one.
Well, it depends on the height of your ceiling, too, which one's
Sure,
going to work better
sure.
for you.
The rosettes were a great idea. You may not have that type of bathroom, but look for little details that you can enhance your bathroom with the rosettes, putting that metal screen.
That's pretty.
Try things in your bathroom. It's a lot of fun.
Well, then you did the toolbox installation of things.
Do you have
keeping them in the wall?
Yeah. Do you have some place in your home that the
do.
bars keep?
I
Yeah.
do.
Well, it's using the right toggles and making sure that you use what the manufacturer gives you in the package. Those self-anchoring mollies too work great for that.
A lot of knobs in that bathroom.
Yeah, you don't have to have a template. If you just find center by marking the center like I showed you, and that's a good starting point.
Snap, huh?
Yep.
So simple. We put some lace curtains in that window above the shower, and then the toughest thing that we had to determine was what color shower curtain should we use? I know that seems silly, but as you saw, there were so many that looked okay.
Yeah.
Until we came across the green one. I really fell in love with that because it picked up on the detail and the color in the paper. Plus, our homeowner liked it. Very masculine,
And
lovely
that's what
stripe.
counts.
And that's what counts.
Yep. Adding personality. Boy, we brought a lot of stuff into that
We
room.
did bring some, of course, all the towels and everything, the candles. This is where the Victorian style really came out in the ferns, the peacock feathers, the vases and everything. Lovely, lovely bathroom.
Very nice.
I think so too.
Very masculine, but also very useful for anybody that visits his home.
I agree.
I think it's a great looking
really
bathroom.
Pretty. Hey, we're glad you joined us for today's show. We hope you come back next time. We'll decorate together,
Room by room. Bye, folks.